Hello, and welcome to this video from psychosissupport.com. In this video, we will be covering myths about mental illness. Myth number 1. Mental illnesses aren't real illnesses. The fact is, mental illnesses are not the regular ups and downs of life. Mental illnesses create distress, don't go away on their own, and are real health problems with effective treatments. Myth number 2. Mental illnesses will never affect me. The fact is, all of us will be affected by mental illnesses. You may not experience a mental illness yourself, but it's very likely that a family member, friend, or co-worker will experience challenges. Myth number 3. Mental illnesses are just an excuse for poor behavior. The fact is that mental illness is not a choice, and while some people may exhibit apparent bad behavior, it is the illness causing this, not the person. Myth number 4. Bad parenting causes mental illnesses. The fact is, no single factor causes mental illness. It is a complex condition involving genetic and biological as well as environmental issues. Myth number 5. People with mental illnesses are violent and dangerous. The fact is, researchers agree that mental illnesses are not a good predictor of violence. In fact, if we look at mental illnesses on their own, people who experience a mental illness are no more violent than people without a mental illness. Myth number 6. People don't recover from mental illnesses. The fact is, people can and do recover from mental illnesses. People who experience mental illnesses can and do lead productive, engaged lives. Myth number 7. People who experience mental illnesses are weak and can't handle stress. Stress impacts well-being, but this is true for everyone. People who experience mental illnesses may actually be better at managing stress than people who haven't experienced mental illnesses. Myth number 8. People who experience mental illnesses can't work. The fact is, whether you realize it or not, workplaces are filled with people who have experienced mental illnesses. Mental illnesses don't mean that someone is no longer capable of working. Myth number 9. Kids can't have a mental illness, like depression. Those are adult problems. The fact is, many mental illnesses first appear when a person is young. Mental illnesses may look different in children than in adults, but they are a real concern. Myth number 10. Everyone gets depressed as they grow older. It's just part of the aging process. The fact is that depression is never an inevitable part of aging. Older adults may have a greater risk of depression because they experience so many changes in roles and social networks. So why is it necessary to debunk these myths about mental illness? Because they add to the discrimination and prejudice and stigma around mental illness. And stigma is really tough for people who do have a mental illness because they are discriminated against, and there is a lot of prejudice. It is important to remember that mental illness is exactly that. It's an illness. It's not a character trait or a failing, and people cannot just snap out of it. It's not a choice. So please don't discriminate.